the 1600s, Dutch scientist Christian Huygens described something which is now called the law of entrainment. This law holds that if two or more rhythms are in close proximity, they will always fall into sync. Huygens observed that pendulum wall clocks, when placed next to each other, would become entrained and be in sync with each other. The system with the greater frequency slows down and the other accelerates. Christian Huygens, a notable physicist, coined the term entrainment after he noticed that two pendulum clocks had moved into the same swinging rhythm, and subsequent experiments duplicated. The accepted explanation for this is that small amounts of energy are transferred between the two systems when they are out of phase in such a way as to produce negative feedback. As they assume a more stable phase relationship, the amounts of energy gradually reduce to zero. Huygens also discovered that two pendulums mounted on the same beam will come to swing in perfectly opposite directions, an observation he referred to as odd sympathy, which in modern times is known as resonance. In the realm of physics, entrainment appears to be related to resonance. This law holds true for all types of rhythms: biological, celestial, mechanical, musical, electrical, etc. Huygens also formulated what is now known as Newton's second law of motion in the quadratic form.
However, life is not predominantly fearful. It is intelligent, conscious, and full of joy. So is your body. Although islands of pain and discomfort exist in it, they are surrounded by an ocean of pure joy, of comfort, of bliss. When you trace any living impulse back to its source, this is what you reach. We all live our lives from the top down. That is, we notice the grossest expression first. The outburst of anger, the bags under the eyes, the depressed mood. Only then do we undertake an investigation into the subtler causes for these problems, if we seek them at all. Nature works in reverse, from subtle to gross. To her, to nature, your body is bliss first and foremost, a joyful creation whose intent is to live forever. Know that of yourself, and you will exist in a different world. As the ancient Indian sages proclaimed, from bliss these creatures emerge, in bliss they are sustained. The old conditioning.
Complete blocking the field.
Security is released, and overall transformation takes place. The body's intelligence regroups itself. It literally recreates itself around a new and purer image. All of us experience this whenever we recover from an illness. The moment comes when the feeling of being sick, accompanied by various symptoms, by fatigue and
Complete blocking field
and by
demonstrated.
Inertia in the mind and body, gives way to being well again. I'm a new person, you say, and you're right. The body is printing out a new creation that is healthy instead of sick. As spiritual growth proceeds, these transformations take place every day. As inner intelligence flows to where it is needed, impurities are released in the form of old stresses. As they go, the entire printout changes. You automatically become integrated on a higher plane of functioning. On some days, you will feel surges of growth. Joyful moods begin to emerge. Former fears and inhibitions vanish, or at least partially melt away. Unexpected strengths seem to be in place. Most astonishing of all, you find that you know things that you never knew before. What you're really doing is tapping into your own informational fields and eavesdropping on the cosmic computer, on the cosmic mind. The people who are intuitive, they don't go out there to be intuitive, they go inside themselves. Because our bodies are focal points in a universal field of intelligence. So when we get in touch with that finest feeling, that finest level of feeling, faintest emotion, that finest impulse of desire, we are tapping into an information field. We tap into that information field, we eavesdrop.
I literally feel Like
is the basis of intuition, of precognition.
an energy or electricity on my fingers.
Arrived at even thousands of years ago, which is now being substantiated by modern science. I don't mean necessarily that this knowledge is in the form of technical information, although even that can happen. This knowledge comes in the form of insight. You begin to see what makes other people tick. Your own hidden motivations reveal themselves. Old fears appear in a new, less threatening light.
There are two ways that I know of to create a psychokinetic event. The first is accomplished by using one's attention and true self hand in hand to learn about and eventually master or become a master of that application or energy expression of the unified consciousness. The second is to change the conscious field itself. This is attained through understanding that all mass is energy. All mass is energy. And that all energy is an expression of the unified conscious field. To use this, one must exist in a state of oneness and be in the experience of that which is referred to as the unknown. Full attention in this state will cause the intention to be achieved, activated, and come to pass. Attention on a PK task increases the probability amplitude of that event happening. It has been proven time and again that the psyche can affect probability outcomes. PK mind shifting allows one access to the true unbounded limitless self. In this state of pure potential, the psyche is free to see the necessary connections and the information required to orchestrate the space-time event for success. In around 1923, Alexander Gurwitch discovered an ultra-weak photon emission coming from living systems. He called this photo emission mitogenetic radiation. DNA emits photons. The purpose of the so-called Psyball exercise was actually to learn to create and visualize energy constructs, and to learn to feel Biofield resonance. This technique originated from an older technique called standing post. It is my personal belief that one can focus light emission from DNA. It is not necessary for this exercise to be successful that you emit light from your hands. The main purpose of putting your hands together and sensing what comes from both of them is to get a feel. This is a very good exercise to start, especially if you're using a psi wheel. Be careful of trying to force it. This can inadvertently polarize your biofield, making any further versatility difficult. In a polarized state, you encounter resistance to your intention. Instead, be like water, as Bruce Lee said. When working with an object or energy, try to develop a rhythmic relationship and train your consciousness to its very essence. When you do this, you'll start to learn things, and in that knowledge, your true self will develop a way to cause your PK event to happen. When PK mind shifting, I start with my intention. My higher self then works it out by using the law of attention. In that attention, I seek that bliss of connection to all. In that connection, my higher self is free to activate the events necessary for PK. My awareness becomes connected to all that is around me.